Hello, welcome. My name is Navjot, and in this video, I will be talking about things that might not be very obvious to most of us citizen developers when working with Dataverse for Teams. Being precise, I will be talking about sharing and the permissions of the solutions that we are building in Power Apps and flows and tables in Dataverse for Teams. So before I begin, I want to maybe draw a big picture of the very basic facts around Dataverse for Teams. So, you know that if you want to create a new solution in Dataverse for Teams, you have to click this Power Apps icon. This is opening a Power Apps application, but not only this tool is actually a gateway to Dataverse for Teams world. So here you can create flows, you can create Power Apps, you can create tables, even Power Virtual Agents. And also, once you navigate to this Build tab, you will see all the teams to which you have an access, like you're an owner, you're a member, or anything was built by anyone, right? So you'll see just a list of all those teams where anything has been built and where you have an access. I mean, unless you're a global admin or a Teams admin or a Power Platform admin, then you'll see all those teams anyway. But if you're just a regular member, if you're just a regular user of O365 user, here you'll only see those teams where you're actually a member or an owner of. And what is very important, when you create new solutions, so once you navigate back to home, and when you hit this new app here, the first thing that you're required to do is to select a team where you actually want to create your solution. And then once you attempt to create this new solution, what Dataverse for Teams is doing in the background, if you're the first person, is provisioning an environment. So like once you open the Dataverse, the Power Platform Admin Center and navigate to environments, you will notice there is a set of environments created of a type Microsoft Teams. And these are environments related to the teams where something has been built. These environments are quite simple. They don't have they don't have this security model. They don't contain security roles. You cannot create your own security roles. You cannot grant access to security groups. You cannot grant access to users, and so on and so on. They are just containers for the solutions which are built in that team. So, having that said, I'll now navigate to Build, and here I already have my table for which I will now create a new application. I will call this application my test app, just my test app. And this is just going to be a very simple application. I will connect it with this table that you saw I have created. The table itself is also very simple. It just has like 3 columns. So by doing that, Power Apps is now going to automatically generate all the layout forms and everything that is really required to work with that table. So I already see that it has 1 record. It's all fine. So now, once you create an application and you want to share this app with the members of the team where it is present, where it was created, the next step you have to do is to hit this button, Publish to Teams. This will both save the application and publish it like in the regular version. However, the next step of the publishing is actually to choose a channel where you want to display this app or where you want to pin this app as a tab. So I will choose the General tab, and I will add my application in here. So right now, if any user of the team navigates to General Channel, they will be able to find My Test App tab. And in here, they're going to be able to see this application opening. Now, why I'm saying opening? Well, because there is a difference between an access to that application, because access to an application is like granted to anyone who is a member of this team, whether it's a member, whether it's an owner or a guest user. But access to a data that the application is using is a different level. So right now I am able to actually work this application. Just do some creations, create new records, work with, like I'm able to do anything. However, if I'd like to limit how members and guest users who are also present in my team are able to collaborate with others on that on the data, then what I have to do is to navigate back to the Power Apps, so the Dataverse for Teams, and open the table that is being used. One table, other tables, all the tables that are being used by the application as data sources. And here in a table, you'll notice there is this button labeled Manage Permissions. Now, once you hit it, you'll see that you are able to actually grant different permissions to members and guest users in the team. And you're able to choose one of 5 different security levels or permission levels. You are not able to create your own custom permission level. You're just limited to use one of those pre-created by Microsoft. So you can grant the full access, you can grant the collaboration access, reference, private, or you can revoke access to the data. So you can say that members will only be able to create new records, read all records, but then update only those records that they have created, while guests are only going to be able to read all records. Now, there is also this section called Colleagues with Access. What is it for? Basically, you are able to share your application outside of the team where it was created, and you are able to share it with a security group. This security group can be the one related to the Microsoft team, so every team has as well their security group. Or you can create a security group that is independent from teams. It just contains a set of members of employees across all the teams, just totally independent from teams. And once you share your application with that group, you're as well able to define what kind of access that members of that group are going to have. So for my for this purpose of the demo, I will grant these members of the group only reference permissions, so they will be able to read the records, but they won't be able to modify them or create new ones. All right. Now, what is the next step to actually share the application with the members of that group or with any other group? To do that, you have to navigate back to Build tab. And then once you are in this Build section, you do have the button called Share with Colleagues. Then once you hit it, you're able to define a security group, just one security group, no more, that is going to be, that this solution is going to be shared with. In my case, I have pre-used Contoso team because in this environment, in the communication team, I have already provisioned some other applications and then I shared them with the Contoso team security group. Therefore, this group is pre-selected. But I can just remove it and try to find another one. For example, Contoso. Contoso is just a team, so the group behind the team. And I can share this application with that team. Or I'll just go back to Contoso team security group because I want to show you how the security group actually works and how the users are going to see the application. So I toggled that colleagues from that group can use application. Now I have to save it. So the next step actually is to answer the question how members of that group can use the application. Where can they find that application? There is just one answer to this question. The only way for them to find the application at that point is to go to Apps, and then under the Build for Organization, they will find this application as the one that is built by your colleagues. So here I have Admin Center opened on this Contoso team group. So you can see there are 18 members. And one of those members is Adele Vance, right? Adele Vance is one of the members. This is her team. You can see that she is not a member of communication team, so she is not able to access the application directly through the team. However, if she now navigates to Apps, right, then under Build for Organization, she's also able to see all these applications that have been shared with her. So with that, she can simply hit to add this application to her list of apps, pinned to the left menu. And with that, she is now going to be able to open the application and simply start working with it. Because she doesn't have permissions to create records or edit existing ones, but only she is able to view them. Therefore, even if I hit to create new record, and even if I provide some data and try to save, I'll be shown this message, or I should be shown the message that I have no permissions. Right. So I cannot save the form because, well, there is an error. I don't have permissions. The same would happen if I try to edit a record and update something. Here again, PowerUp is going to cancel this operation and it's not going to do that. Well, the PowerUp actually is not built this way that it handles this kind of an exception. So there is no warning or error message telling me why actually I cannot do that. However, if I then navigate back to the application, so to PowerUps and to this table, and then if I change permissions for the Contoso team from reference to collaborate, for example, so that right now Adele is going to be able not only to view the records, but as well to create new ones. Let's check. Let's try it now. Right, so right now she was able to create a new record, but still if she would try to edit an existing one, she's going to be displayed that error message that, well, telling not very much, but at least she's not able to do that. So this is how we can actually work with permissions on the data and the permissions to access applications. But that's not it. So this is the layer of the user. Now we are as well able to limit that users are actually not able to share their applications with other users, with other security groups, with their colleagues. To do that, they need to navigate to Microsoft Teams Admin Center, and then admin has to actually disable one application or two applications that are present under the Manage Apps. So if you'd like to allow your employees to create applications in Power Apps in Dataverse for Teams, but then to disallow to share this application outside of Teams, then what you have to block is these two applications. So you have to block the shared Power Apps. This will disallow other users from using applications, Power Apps applications built by other colleagues. And if you block as well shared Power Virtual Agent apps, then if someone creates a Power Virtual Agent and would like to share it with their colleagues, then this is also not going to be feasible. Let me show you that example. So this is my another tenant. In this tenant, I have blocked these two applications. Now note that blocking and allowing apps takes some time. So this is not an immediate action. This is why I have like two tenants showing you how it works. So after you block this application, it takes like even 6 hours before this actually is in action. So until those policies in Microsoft Teams are refreshed, it's really taking a lot of time. But because I have blocked these two applications, now users of my tenant, when they navigate to apps, they even won't be able to find this section like anything under built by your colleagues. So here, even if there is something built, then this application is just not going to be shown here. Like nothing is actually going to be shown here. So remember that if you'd like to block your employees from sharing their solutions with their colleagues, you have to disable these apps. I mean, Power Apps if you want to disallow sharing of Power Apps, and Pivotal Agents if you want to disallow sharing of Pivotal Agents. Fine. Right. There is also another thing that we can do with the application that we have built. So, apart from sharing this application with the colleagues so they can go under apps and find this application there, under this section built by a colleague, you can as well export this application or simply hit this Add to Team button. And there you will find the form that you can fill in, so you can provide details about the application, MPN ID. You can as well edit details right here, so to change icon, to change description. And then if you'd like to add this application to Teams so that anyone in Teams can use it, you have to hit this button, Download App. This will create a package that is going to be simply downloaded. And then you need to provide it or send it to Microsoft Teams admin. If you're the same person, that's fine. And then Microsoft Teams admin needs to go to Manage Apps and then simply upload this app to the apps catalog of the tenant. So my app is now added, uploaded. Here it is. It is published, it is allowed. So just double check this is really happening. And then after a moment, I think it's gonna take like maybe a couple of minutes, when users navigate to apps and again build for organization, they will see here a new section, build for organization, where all the applications, all the custom applications uploaded to Microsoft Teams are going to be displayed. Right, so you can see I just refreshed Teams, and here I can already see that this application is as well present as the one that is built for my organization. So right now, actually any user of Microsoft Teams can find this application and add it to their list of apps. However, just be aware that despite the fact that those users are actually going to be able to see this application and use it, they won't be able to use the data. So even if Adele now goes here to build by organization, she needs to refresh it as well. So even if she adds this application right now from here, so from this section of apps built for the organization, she is still not going actually to be able to do anything that her permissions are not allowing to do. So she's still not able to edit a record. Right? But she's able to create new ones. Furthermore, if I remove Adele from this group of the security group, if I remove her right now, right, there should be 18 or 18. Okay, assume it is done. And now I refresh the Teams again. And then still the application is visible for her because the application is actually shared with the whole organization. So the application is still in here. However, if she would try to, again, open it, she should be now shown no data because she's not a member of the security group anymore. And therefore, she shouldn't be able to write. So there is no permissions for her to access that data, right? So this is why, this is because she was now removed from the security group, but the application is still following the same permissions as it was following in the first place. So even though it is now added for the whole organization, still users to use it, still users to work with the data, have to be members of that security group. Right, and still this is not all. I'll get back to my tenant. Now, one more thing that is really important as well, because you can have like multiple apps built by your organization added here. But again, you don't necessarily need to share every of these applications. Here again, if you'd like to limit which applications are available to the users and which not, the Teams admin has to navigate to manage apps, and then again, Teams admin is able to block specific apps. So, for example, I have this submitted hints application that is blocked, and I don't have it here. So this is how you can allow or disallow applications from showing up to users. There is also more settings around these custom applications that we need to follow. So if you even would like other users to be able to submit these applications, here under organization-wide app settings, you have to allow these third-party apps on. So with this turned off, all third-party apps, so all apps outside of Microsoft Corporation, are going to be blocked by default. Or even if they are published and allowed, they won't be visible and available for the users because this third-party app setting is going to be off. But that's not it. There is also a way to limit users, specific group of users, from accessing specific applications. For this purpose, we can create permission policies. This is a very powerful tool that actually allows us to create a new policy. We can call it like and then you can define what applications, what Microsoft third-party and custom applications should be available or should not be available for users from that policy or affected by that policy. So for example, I can say that I want these users to allow only specific apps to use. There was something with hints, right? So I have like submitted hints application or submit hint, the bot. And so users now who are going to be affected by this policy are going to be able to use the bot, but they won't be, for example, able to use the submit hints application. Now, how can I grant access or how can I add this policy to users? You have to hit the manage users, and under manage users, you simply need to define users by their name, last name, email, whatever. However, you cannot define a security group or any other group here because this is not supported. That is the first approach how you can limit applications to specific users. So with this permission policy, all users affected by this policy, as they navigate under the apps, they would only be able to submit hint application. So best practices is not going to be available for them, only submit hint. Here again, remember, before the policy is enrolled and takes effect, it also needs a couple of minutes, like up to an hour, I think. Now the second thing, very cool thing, is the setup policies. The setup policies, again, policy helps you to create as custom policies that actually pre-installs specific applications to users, again, who are affected by this policy. So here again, I can say that this is going to be the custom apps policy. And you can define again users. You can define again rules for the policy. So you can tell that members, people who are affected by this policy, they are not able to upload custom applications, but they are automatically what was this application? The best practices. But they're automatically, they will be automatically installed this application. So any user that I will then grant this policy or then I will apply this policy to will notice that they have installed this new application. Also, I can automatically pin this application to the pinned apps. So with that, actually, any user to whom I will assign this policy, because here again, you need to go to manage users and then assign the policy, are going to find out that here is a new application present, and this is only going to be present for them. So just be aware that still you need to explicitly grant permissions to tables that these applications are going to use. So even though you allow access using the permission policies, or that you pre-install this application using setup policies, still user who is going to be affected by these policies needs to have an access to tables, because otherwise they simply won't be able to work with the application. One important thing is that for setup policies, you're as well able to assign a security group. However, you can only do that using PowerShell cmdlet. Find hyperlink below in the comments, in the description of the video, where is this cmdlet present, and that works. So you can assign a setup policy to a security group. For the permission policy, this cmdlet is still being under construction, and the rumors say it will be just available somewhere next year. Therefore, for permission policies, it is only possible to actually grant access for specific users. However, there is also a cmdlet to bulk insert users to that policy. So you can have like a Excel file or CSV file with emails of all these users you would like to assign that policy, and then use PowerShell to bulk insert these users to that policy. And well, that is basically it. So just a short recap. What you have learned today is, first, how you can create an application and share with your team. How, for a share with your team application, you can set up permissions so that members and guest users in that team are going to have different permissions to the data. First two things. Third, we have learned how to share the application outside of the team with a custom security group, and how we can set permissions to the data for that custom security group so that members of that security group can have different permissions to the data as members from the team. We also learned how we can disallow users from sharing applications with other colleagues. We also learned how we can install an application so that it is available for all the users in the tenant. And also we have learned how we can enforce that specific users are seeing the application by using permission policies, and also how we can enforce that for other users this application is going to be pre-installed by default and pinned by default by using setup policies. With all these features, you can really work with applications and manage them, also control users about sharing of applications, and building a better experience around Dataverse for Teams and Power-Ups in Dataverse for Teams, and really building a very, very consistent collaboration workspace for all your employees. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, simply write them down in comments below. And I encourage you to subscribe, because there is really a lot of more awesome content coming up. And thumbs up, like the video, and until the next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye bye.